As always, please use your raise hand function. We have about 15 to 20 minutes, and we'll get to as many questions as possible. Also, please give us about a minute or two to grant everyone permission to record, and then we'll get started. All right, looks like most should have permission to record. Let's start with Chris Bills with the Speaker Texas. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, thanks. Josh, there was obviously a lot of... Are you muted? I'm getting some feedback here. Anyway, sorry. It's really in my head. Josh, there was a lot of talk about the lineup that you played midweek. I guess just thinking about it now, how important was it to make sure that you had, your first choice 11 out there and healthy and ready to go and chase the 3 points tonight? Do you feel like in the end that was all kind of worth it to get the 6 points out of the 3 matches?
Again, I'll keep to what I started with at the beginning of the week. I mean, we wanted to be in position to get 3 results, and being compact and difficult in Colorado and mixing up some guys and maintaining some freshness at home, given the dynamic of a late Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday, we felt it made sense. Obviously, the results help validate what we thought, but I think when you look at Sebastian Driussi's and Gite's and Fagundes and Jean's contributions tonight, there was a level of freshness. There was obviously a level of quality. CC also got a little bit of rest, but got an impulse on Wednesday. But I think, obviously we got to make decisions based on what we feel is in the best interest for the team to get results and get good performances, the health of the players. So all that plays a role. And, again, I'll say I don't get it right all the time and certainly take the criticism. But, there maybe could have been a couple things different on Wednesday. But this is why we do it. And, tonight was a fantastic soccer. Some really good opportunities. It should have been 5-6-1. We had so many good quality chances, but I think that's more reflective. We have our entire group out there in a pretty good state to play and compete. It was warm, and it's a good opponent. Real Salt Lake's a good opponent. Make it challenging on you, and really pleased and happy for the players, and again, most importantly, our fans. When we're at home, this is what it needs to feel like, and they were great as well, and obviously we're all energized to provide a win for them.
Yeah, we saw Alex drop deeper in the midfield again. He and Pochettino playing together back there. It seemed like Alex had to do a lot of cleanup work in the first half, and then obviously you brought Danny in to kind of help stabilize things. What did you see from the midfield overall tonight? And, do you just think that Alex does something that nobody else really can in that position that, maybe it's worth having him back there full time?
Well, yeah, I think when we're defending, we've had a few different looks that we've defended with this year, but when we defend in a 4-4-2 or 4-2-3-1, Alex with somebody is necessary, and Tomas has gotten an awesome run this week of minutes as a center mid, and I think he's done really well with that. He's the concern before was where, can he maintain the tempo? Can he be, organized and maintain the discipline as well? And again, his engagement starting from last week in this process was extremely good. And again, he helps put out fires as well in different ways. He competes and covers ground with Alex. But Alex is a warrior. He's been in this league a long time. He's played internationally. He knows what it looks like, feels like, and smells like right in the middle of the field. And that's where games can be won. In our league, it's a matter of being combative and organized. And that's a big part of his role. But I think, we brought in Danny. He gives us a little more mobility and the grab balls off the center backs and bring it into the midfield. And that also allows Alex and Tomas Sebastian to be a little bit further spots, and today it was evidence as well that can work for us as well. But Alex has some versatility, as does Pepe, and good result. We'll analyze it and see where we can get better.
Thank you. Colby Gordon with Austin Statesman. Go ahead.
Hey, Josh. Just having Musa and Cecilio on the field at the same time, just what does that allow you as a club, you as a team to do?
I think it's drastically different than when we did not have a striker. Obviously, Danny Hosen and Aaron we lost early in the year, but Danny also provided good organization, good attributes to bring players into the game. But Musa, as a a pure striker, puts Cecilio back in his spot to be more of a winger where he can get isolated 1v1 and still arrive in the box. So those things were drastically missed, for a big chunk of this year. And again, I think when you've seen those two players start the game, be in their proper positions, they're a handful to deal with, and they also do a good job bringing others into the game. And again, we'll continue to work on that. Musa was a handful, and he got significant minutes tonight. The only thing I'm disappointed is he wasn't able to grab a goal, but his ability to bring balls into the play, bring players into the play, bring balls down in tough spots, and also just connect the game, bringing in Sebastian, bringing in Tomas, Cecilio. So unlucky for him to not get a goal, but his performance was very good, as was Sebastian's, Diego's. A large part of the group was extremely good.
Thank you. Next up, Eric Goodman with the Austin Chronicle.
Hey Josh, back-to-back home wins, back-to-back wins when playing kind of your best 11 when you have everybody available. This kind of feels like a step forward for the club, a little bit of consistency in a way. What kind of confidence does it give you about the strength of your first team, kind of as when everyone's available and when you've got the right conditions?
Yeah, I think we have as I've said, we have a very competitive group. There aren't many games that that we haven't shown up and competed and had our moments where we can dominate or take the game to the opponent, whether it's home or away. But it's nice to have, again, a proper striker and putting Cecilio and all of our players in places now where they can be most impactful. And we have an idea of the way we want to play, and obviously there's attributes that each player can bring and contribute to the game. But I think it's been quite clear when, as you said, we've had more of this starting 11 that's played this game mixed in with Pepe at times. It's a very good group. It's a very balanced group. I think we still have the ability to have more verticality, but those are things that we'll have to continue to work on. But they have good understanding with each other. You can see the interplay, the interchanging within the game. Nick Lima came in and did a good job to help button things up as well, and McKenzie came in. So our substitutes, again, have now come in and given us life and energy and some impactfulness. So it's a good collective response to a difficult week, and I'm really pleased for the guys. I'm proud of them.
Thank you. Next up, Mark Turner with Last Word on Soccer.
Thanks, Laura. Hey, Coach. I asked you in the week what you thought RSL could bring to the party today. You talked extensively about their threat from out wide.
Yeah.
Do you think there are obviously several keys to the victory today, but do you think the primary key was the threat that you generated out wide, particularly through Fagundes and Dominguez?
Yeah, again, I think good attacks can certainly hinder the opponent, and we certainly defended well at times and defended a little bit deep at times, but I'd agree with that. Our ability to push them back, to obviously make them deal with the game in a real difficult way. I think we put up 18 shots, and the overloads, again, when Diego and Hector and Tomas, and when they get around each other, it's like backyard soccer, and they have such good, calm, clever ideas of playing between lines, behind lines, recirculating, and those overloads. It's beautiful. And when we need to get out of that and get to the other side, you also have a guy like Cecilio that's loaded on the line, ready to go 1v1. So to your point, yes, I think that type of danger and threat in those areas certainly forces the Justin Mirams and Herrera's back a little bit deeper, as well as Rusnak, and it certainly takes a little bit of their edge off for the game, but we always have to be mindful of the opponent. And I liked for Z defending in the channel today. Good contact, good physicality. Got out and blocked more chances. Hector as well. So that was going to be a big part of it. Not just one-on-one, but fullbacks and wingers doing that collectively and being really buttoned up in front of goal with defending defending the red zone, as we say, right in front of goal with our center backs and our sixes. So good collective effort. We'll analyze, and like I said, there's always room to get better, but pretty pleased with a lot of it.
What did you see of the Chite PK?
Again, you make the call on the field, and again, I don't know if people are looking at just the feet and the ground, but it's about the arm, and he's pulling Jite's arm back, which again we saw midweek where it should be a red card penalty where he pushes the player from behind. In this case, again, it's a yank of the arm, which is pulling him away from being able to strike the ball. It's pulling him away from having an advantage. So again, I'm a little lost for words when it comes to this. We got an apology from Howard Webb. I've talked to him on the phone. I know he sent something during the match against Colorado to Claudio, but again, it's today it's water under the bridge, but it's happened way too often, and we've been on the wrong side of it way too often, and it's somewhat disrespectful. But as I say to our players, we're the new team to the party right now. We don't have the points that other teams have, and this is a reflection of it. Whether it's pro or whether it's the on-field committee, whether it's VAR, that's what it's looked like all year, and they can't deny that. So I'm glad our guys grinded and fought through it, but it needs to be said because it's bogus. It's just not right.
Cheers, Coach.
Thank you. Next up, John Lupo with Babel.
Thank you, Laura. Hey, Josh, so you mentioned about rotating the squad with these 3 matches in 7 days. It seemed like this was one of your overall best offensive performances of the season. Your passing was sharp. I thought that the deliveries were excellent. You guys had a ton of chances on goal. What were you most pleased with offensively?
I think our guys' understanding of how we were going to break down the opponent. It took a little bit, but it was always going to start in the wide areas and how we could progress. And when we couldn't, we always knew we had opportunities on the weak side. Their wingbacks are very aggressive. Whenever we switched the point of attack quickly and got from one side of the field through the middle or off of Gite to the opposite side, they were in big trouble. And those things contributed to a lot of our successful actions. And again, I thought our wide guys did a great job. But the guys' understanding of what this game was going to look like after it's a short week, so we have a meeting or two to help detail that. But their ability to take it in, digest it, apply it, and obviously execute it in a very good way, both offensively and defensively. And again, the only thing really lacking is the third, the fourth, and the fifth goal. And we deserved it, and it was unfortunate not to happen. The goalie made a few very good saves. But that's the icing on the cake. But pleased with the result, pleased with the performance, and 6 points in a week that we talked about it being a challenging week. I think we put on the board 7 would have been something that we were really shooting for, and 6 is still strong. 2 wins at home is still what we look to achieve.
Also, Musa, in much the same way Sebastian is getting more playing time, getting used to the team in training and during matches, do you feel like, I thought this was Musa's best performance of the season, do you feel like that Musa is sort of following Sebastian in the same way where he's now more acclimated to the team and now he can really show off what he does, as you said, as a pure natural striker?
Yeah, I think so. I think that you got it exactly right. And Musa came in to this environment after being off for a little bit longer period of time as well. And Sebastian was finished the season, was in preseason, playing minutes, getting games. So he was in just a different space. So Musa, it took a little while just because that's the nature of coming from the offseason. But as you've seen what he's done as a reserve, as a starter in the last couple games, he's a handful to collect balls, handful when he faces you up and gets in and around the box. He brings guys in nicely. And as his fitness grows and has his understanding of the league, but also our players, the getting more comfortable and aware of what the player's strengths are and how he likes to receive the ball, both for Sebastian and Musa. Those things go a long way. And again, when we have a proper preparation to get everybody on the same page and again, solidify some of these ideas, I think it's really clear how good this team can be. And those are things that we'll obviously take away. We've got 6 more games. And we get a little bit of a break now, so there's plenty of that we can work on. And those are things that we'll look forward to as a group to get started on next week.
Thank you. Looks like we have time for one more question. Archibald, go ahead.
Thank you. Hey, congratulations, Josh. This was the third game this season that you all drew Rosendo Mendoza as your head referee. Unlike some of his colleagues, he's maybe not as card happy as perhaps other referees in MLS. Doesn't issue as many, and your previous 2 games showed that as well. Is that something you guys look at closely, and did you look at it going into this game knowing that you were talking about the physicality of your fullbacks and your defense, knowing you could be more physical and you could make those tactical fouls if you were caught in transition and be more aggressive, take more risks, and step more. Is that something that you all looked at going into the match, saying, this is a referee that doesn't hand out as much yellow as maybe as some of the others, and you could have that aggressive mindset? Is that something that you all looked at?
I think we talk about certainly the demeanor of referees, and some of that, what you're saying, are they quick to pull cards? Are they more approachable? I think we talk about those things, but it's also the end of the year. I think refs start to get a little bit more into the playoff mode. They'll let a little more go. They'll let a little bit of the physicality linger and carry on. But when there's obvious tactical fouls, I think there's reason to pull cards, and Pepe got one for obviously dragging the guy down when he maybe could have just done it in a simpler way earlier. But I think that's also part of our players understanding what these refs look like, what the calls begin to look like. Also understanding what the games take on. We have to bring that level of physicality and certainly combativeness, and I've liked that. That's been something I think that's grown, and we duels and competing is something that we benchmarked within the group and talked a lot about. So again, I thought tonight we nailed that, and that's what you have to do to become a hard team to play against. And it starts with being a fortress at home, and obviously it's the end of the year, and we want to keep putting points on the board, keep getting wins, and most importantly, performing well. And again, I think there's a collective amount of things that go into to making a good performance, but there were many good things tonight, and glad that the ref was obviously more control in this game, which is nice to see. So he did a good job.
Thank you. That's all the time we have today with Coach Josh Wolff. Please stay on the line, and we'll be joined with an awesome
Thank you.
very shortly.